Trading psychology is something that is quite important for trading. Some people think it is the key for trading and becoming successful as a trader. I don't believe that's the case. I believe there are multiple factors that make you profitable as a trader, psychology being one of them. Now, I want to make this video very practical for you. I want to make sure that you have various approaches that are going to help you with your psychology. Some are very practical steps that you can take that are not going to require really any practice. And then there are things that I want to share with you that are going to require you to practice and change how you engage with the world and yourself. I'm Joachim Yeria. This is Clear Trades. Let's get started. Now, before we hop into the topic, if you're interested how I'm managing my trades, what trades I get into, then you can check out my Discord, my Telegram channel. The link is in the description below or in the comment section. I call out my trades in there almost every day. If I trade every day, sometimes it is less, and you can see how I handle it and how I make embarrassing mistakes and I come out of it. And sometimes I have great successes. So anyways, let's get started with the topic. Trading psychology. Let's look at what you can do practically. What does it even mean, trading psychology? It means how you are engaging with a trade, whether you're taking a trade or you're sitting back and not taking a trade. You may be taking a trade that you shouldn't be taking, like I did today, this morning. I made a stupid mistake. You can see that in the Telegram channel. I quit. I got out of that trade pretty quickly, but I got a loss from it. And then I got into another trade later on. You could also be not taking a trade that you should be taking. It is a setup that you know you should be taking, but you're not taking it. And so there are different factors that are in play for trading psychology. But what I want to look at is the very simple steps that you can take. Because what is one of the biggest drivers in your psychology? It is fear. Fear of missing out, fear of losing money. Fear is often a driving factor. And so they are very practical steps that you can take that are going to reduce the amount of fear that you're going to feel during trading. What are those practical steps? Number one is to actually know what you're doing. So many people are against demo trading. I am a proponent of demo trading because one set of the skill that you need to master for trading is to actually being able to identify setups that are going to work for you. And you can do that without having to waste any money. You can do that in demo. So once you have actually proven that you're profitable in demo and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go live, what's the next step? The next step is to take a small amount of your trading capital, not the full thing, a small amount, a small percentage that you're comfortable with losing. You take that money, you kiss it goodbye, and you say, all right, let's get started. See if I can keep being profitable. You use very small sizing because when you're using small sizing, when you're losing, it is not going to be a huge deal. You already have a safety mechanism by making sure that if you do blow the account, it is not going to ruin you. It is not going to ruin your trading career. And then as you're profitable in life, you can start scaling bit by bit by bit. And you can use heavier position sizing. But now it is built on experience. It is built on confidence. And it is built on proof that you can do it. And you're not going from 0 to 100 with your sizing in no time. You take your time in case, we don't have years to test our trading and make sure that we are profitable. You want to kind of start making somewhat decent money within a reasonable time frame. And so slowly scaling up makes sure that if you are wrong and you maybe aren't profitable, you are still not going to blow everything at once. And in general, I think it is a very good idea to keep only a small portion of your trading capital in the account so that if you do ever blow it, then you have other money that you can put in and you can go at it again. Why does this help with your trading psychology? It helps with your trading psychology because you are not afraid anymore. You're dealing with money that you're okay with losing. You're not dealing with critical money. And so it's going to reduce the amount of fear that you're feeling by a lot. And I've just noticed that myself. I was trading with smaller amounts, and today I've decided to size a bit heavier, and I made a mistake. So The amount of sizing that you use can influence your trading, and you can experiment with that yourself. And so it will set up your psychology in a way that is healthier and better for you, because you don't want to be overconfident when you don't have any proof that you can actually do it. You also don't want to be fearful when you actually have proof that you can do it. And so you increase your comfort of sizing by incrementally increasing it. So that's the first thing. Those are very practical things that you can do. They're easy to implement. They don't take any practice in your life, and it will make your life easier. Because one thing that will help with, and it's actually something I didn't even think I want to share, but it is so crucial. A lot of people, of course, get into trading because they want to make money. I understand that. But by wanting to make money, they're shifting their focus onto the end result, which is money, rather than on the skill that they're trying to build. So what helps with your psychology as well is to shift away from thinking I'm going to be making money and start to look at trading and the skill set that trading represents, and starting to find satisfaction with the incremental improvements that you make in your trading. Then you're actually starting to build good habits that are going to sustain you and that are going to help you become profitable. That's actually a really important mindset shift that I need to mention, because it is going to help with psychology. A lot of times people are too focused on the money, not focused enough on the skill building, and that's how they lose perspective. That's how they are not able to implement some of the practical steps that I have shared today with you. So now that we've covered that, let's shift gears and let's look at what can you do that in terms of practices. What can you do that is going to help you to control emotions as you're trading? Before I can go and lay that out for you, I need to make a little detour. I need to actually look at how your mind functions, because there's certain functions of your mind that are helpful to controlling emotions, and there are certain functions of mind that are not so helpful for controlling emotions. So when we're talking about mind and about controlling emotions, what are we actually talking about? Well, when you look at your mind, there are two functions in your mind at the very basic level. And that is, one function is called awareness, right? Or you can call it aware if you want to. And it basically means that you are aware of what is happening. Okay, so you are aware that you're listening to this audio or this video. You are aware of your surrounding. There's another mode of functioning that can happen, which is you basically lose to a large degree this kind of awareness, this knowing quality. For example, you're driving a car and you arrive somewhere and you're like, where did the last 15 minutes go? I don't remember. But in that moment of recognition, you have become aware again. So this knowing quality of mind, that you know what's going on, is what's going to help create stability in your mind, and it's going to help you control your emotions and making sure you're not making any stupid decisions. So this all sounds nice, but how do you actually strengthen that knowing quality of mind? Because it's not like you decide, I'm going to go offline for 15 minutes and I'm going to come online for once that 15 minutes is over, and you are at home, or you're watching a movie and you get totally lost in the movie or a conversation or whatever, and you kind of lose track of everything. That knowing quality is diminished. You're not doing that on purpose, nor are you on purpose triggering it to come online. So it looks like this is actually, to a large degree, an unconscious faculty, but you can strengthen it. And the way you do that is through a positive reinforcement loop, meaning as soon as your mind is displaying a behavior that you like, you reinforce it through something positive. What I like to use is a smile, or you can use gratitude, or you can use appreciation. So as you go throughout your day, you can say, I'm going to remain aware today, as an intention in the morning. And then you go about, and of course, you're going to get lost. And then, during lunch, you're like, oh, right, I want to be aware. In that moment, you have that awareness. It does not matter how long you've been lost. It doesn't matter how frequently you get lost. What matters is the point at which you become aware again. That point is where you can start to make a conscious decision to appreciate, to smile to yourself and say, well done, I'm aware right now. And you go throughout your day and you lose yourself again. That doesn't matter. What matters is, again, the point where your mind kicks in and you become aware again. You're like, yes, fantastic, I'm aware again. And as you do that, as you create that positive reinforcement loop, what happens is that the mind starts to realize, I want to be more aware. I want to be less just in autopilot. I want to actually be more here and present. Now, for this to work, you need to actually make sure that you are reinforcing no matter what you're aware of. So sometimes you become aware and you're not feeling very good. You may be angry or frustrated, or something's just painful. Maybe you're embarrassed or ashamed or whatever. It doesn't matter what's happening in the content of your experience. You want to acknowledge and celebrate, appreciate, smile at the fact that you have become aware. Because a lot of times what gets you in trouble isn't that you're aware. It is that unhelpful habits of mind kick in, you go somewhat unconscious, and they just play out. And then afterwards, you have to go and pick up the pieces from those coping mechanisms that are trying their best to help you, but actually are really harming you. And so by being aware, you stay in the driver's seat and you can start taking positive action in the right direction. Now, as I said, this is a lifestyle change. So meaning this is not something that is a quick fix. You're retraining your mind and you're training the quality of knowing, this awareness in your mind, because when that is present more throughout your day and you have more of a continuation throughout the day and you have less this, oh, I'm aware in the morning, then just at lunch and then again at dinner. Once you start having more like, 100 times from your breakfast till lunch, you remember, oh yeah, I want to be aware. And it gets more and more. You start to gain momentum with that. And then you start to become more continuous, being more continuously aware. And that helps you to then start to notice when unhelpful patterns start showing up. So how can you then transition this into something more practical in terms of emotions? Well, what you do, and you can do that simultaneously as you become aware, you can check in with your body and be like, how am I feeling? Am I stressed right now? And you can scale it from 0 to 10. Okay, my stress level is at 5, 10 being the highest, 0 being none at all. I'm at 5. Great, fantastic. So can you bring that down a notch? All right, can you take a breath, relax your body, and now it's maybe at 4.5. Great. Well done. You appreciate that. Again, that's the positive reinforcement you're using. And what that does, it is inclining the mind in the right direction, which is less stress, more relaxation. You're not looking to go from a 5 to a 0. That is not what you're looking. It is unhelpful trying to get it there. All you're trying to do is shift a little bit from 5 to 4.5, or from an 8 to 7.5. That's it. You appreciate it. Again, you're simply enforcing and reinforcing what you want to see. You ignore the rest. You don't reinforce with negative, self-talk and frustration, whatever, all of that extra stuff. You don't reinforce the stuff that you don't want to see. You notice that stuff. Great. I've been aware. Fantastic. What's a positive action I can take? I can simply bring stress down a notch. And a relaxed body is a body that is not holding stress, which is why you work through the body. And it's a very simple loop. It is a very simple way of going about. Once you have done that, it takes 10 seconds or less. You can do it at any time. It doesn't matter how you're feeling. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It takes so little energy. And just to tell you, I have used that when I was feeling depressed, when I was feeling down, when I was at a point in my life, I was lying on my bed and my nervous system was vibrating out of stress because I was so stressed out of my mind. Within a few months of applying this consistently, that stress disappeared. I rarely got overloaded anymore. I didn't have to shut down. I didn't have this kind of vibration happening in my body because I'm so stressed out. So it is a very effective technique. However, it does require diligence. You need to apply it consistently. Without question, you just need to do it every single day. That's why it's more of a lifestyle change. Once you're able to do that with stress, you can then expand the scope. And especially, let's say you have gotten a lot more momentum with your awareness, you can now expand the scope. And you can start to look for feelings that are more trading related. Well, stress is also trading related, but you can look for feelings like fear, like greed, aversion, not wanting something, and kind of trying to avoid that. And you can use the same loop. So let's say you're trading and you start to notice that you're starting to get fearful. You can do the same thing. You can bring it down a notch by relaxing and opening your body. Now, the difference between the stress and the emotional stuff is that I would suggest that you are adding another step in, which is more of a reflective step, and that is, what are the signs in my physical body that tell me that fear is arising, that tell me that greed is arising, or whatever it is that you're looking at? Because fear or greed can have various ways of expressing themselves. Fear can be clenched. Fear can feel like I want to run away. Fear can be like I want to look away, right? There's different sensations in the body. And the more nuanced you get, the easier it is to spot. And also, once you start to tune into your body and start to notice the physical markers, you can spot them earlier and earlier. The faster you spot them, the faster you can relax your body a bit and release it, the less momentum it builds and the easier it is to change direction. It is a lot harder when things are in full swing. Like, for example, for myself, I had an issue with anger at some point where I was getting angry all the time because of some people I was dealing with. I'm not usually angry, and I wasn't then that much of an anger person, but it was just really coming up. It was coming up a lot, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's poisoning me. It's so awful. I'm angry so often, and those thoughts that just keep popping up." And so at some point, I just had enough, and I just decided I'm going to stick to this system. I'm going to apply continuously, and within a day, I brought the anger down so much it didn't come up anymore. Because what happens with these things is they become automatic, meaning you are starting to have that your unconscious mind starts to basically regulate the stress for you, starts to regulate the emotions. So you're not getting into those very heightened states as much anymore. They can still happen, but they get less and less and less. And so you can apply that to trading. When you sit down at your desk and you're going to trade, you can do the same thing. You can become present. You can have the intention of staying present as you trade. And then you bring everything in that we have talked about, that you've practiced outside of trading as a lifestyle, and you bring it into trading. And you can bring down the stress a bit. You can notice the fear. You know how to bring it down a bit. And with that, you will have a lot more emotional control over yourself. Now, there's still something that you need to know. Even when you know this, sometimes there is fear that can creep up. It can rationalize its way into your thoughts, and you don't notice it. It's very subtle. That's why you need to actually keep a journal of your trades so that you can go and you can review them and you can go back. How did I feel then? And you will start noticing, oh yeah, I did feel a little bit of FOMO kicking in there. What were the markers that showed up that I didn't notice at that time? And so by doing this kind of mindful review, you're training yourself more and more. And you also see the impact that it has on you when you're not actually regulating yourself. You make a stupid decision, like myself today. I sized up. I was a bit nervous. I took a setup that wasn't the best setup I should have taken. I could feel when I go back, I can feel, I'm like, yeah, I can feel how the energy is kind of moving forward. I don't want to miss out on something. There's some FOMO involved as well. I'm also afraid of the bigger sizing. So there's all of that happening. And I didn't do what I was preaching just now, right? Which is totally normal. It can happen. You have the tool, you don't apply it. But that's why when you review it, you make it more likely that you are going to apply it when you're again in that situation. So this is something that takes time. You know, the first part, what I've mentioned of just applying, practical steps, that doesn't necessarily take time. You just need to make sure you're sizing small enough, you're not using all your capital, all of that. Those are things. And of course, the mindset set shift of looking at it as a skill rather than just as the goal, that is quite important as well. But then this stuff is something that is a lifestyle change. It's like almost like someone is obese and they need to lose weight. They need to change how they are engaging with themselves and the world. Our society is very attention based, which is this kind of narrow focused. It is not awareness based, which has a broader scope. As this knowing quality gets stronger, you can actually watch how attention goes from place to place, and how it's like this laser that highlights certain parts of your experience. You can actually notice that through awareness. They two different functions. And even in meditation, a lot of the systems are looking at the attentional system, which is part of the problem because the attention is what gets absorbed in the emotion and the thoughts, and it's almost like hypnotic. So you lose perspective. Awareness is something that is less likely to get absorbed and can create a greater perspective. But, we're still human. Awareness is not like the end all or be all, which is why mindful reviews, keeping a journal are all really important. So that is really it for the video. I want to keep it short. I want to keep it practical, so that you actually understand what you need to do, because otherwise this trading psychology becomes like this big thing of what you are supposed to do. Yes, there are other things that you can do. Yes, you can do trauma work. Yes, you can look at keep a journal in terms of what your thoughts are and all that, and all that's really useful. But for me, the basis for it is awareness. And if you know how to access that, if you know how to practice it, if you know how to apply it so it's actually beneficial for you, your life in general will get better. My life has tremendously improved way before I got into trading, because I've learned about this awareness practice. So anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like these videos, give a like, share the video, and hit the subscribe button. And as I said, if you want to see what I'm doing with my trading, head over to the Telegram channel. All right, take care.